Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Bakers and Small Business Talk Space podcast, where we get to sit with different guests, which include bakers and small business entrepreneurs. We get to unpack their journey into their businesses, the challenges that they may have overcome in running their businesses, the strategies that they may have employed to overcome that challenges. We get to talk about everything that has to do with baking, running a small business. If you're already running a small business, anything that has to do with taking your business to the next height. We hope to get inspired with their story, be able to help someone who's sitting at their corner with this high unemployment rate in South Africa, who would say, I have nothing to do, I am not inspired, to be inspired to do something with their life. My name is Chiro Kangare, and I'm the brain behind Exquisite Deluxe Cake. So if you are new in this channel and you like this content, please like, share, subscribe, and comment. And if you're already subscribed, you guys are my star. Thank you. You are the reason why I have to keep this channel alive, and I draw inspiration from you. In today's episode, I am joined by the dynamic woman, the legend in the baking business, the woman who's been there before me, before us, who has been doing it for years, the woman who inspire us. We take designs, we copy from her, and I know her as Ntshovelo Cakes and Academy. Welcome.
Thank you.
To my podcast. How are you?
I'm okay. What an introduction.
Yes, I have to, but I'm talking to a legend. Yes, the legend in the making, if not yet.
Hey, okay, yeah.
To me.
Okay.
Yeah, that's my opinion, and I'm sticking to it, and it is true.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
I feel like before we get into the seriousness or the purpose of today's podcast, I just want to know if you're in a pack of wolves, and then you are going for some things or some fight, whatever, where would you be? In the front? Not fight, let's just go. You are in the pack, we're just us going somewhere.
Yeah.
Where would I find Kenzie? In the front, in the middle, or at the back?
Probably the middle or the back.
Why?
I don't like being in the forefront. I think I like being hidden underground, and yeah, that's me.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's my personality as well.
I think so too. Mina, why
of course, you. You'll be the leader of the pack.
I'll be the one starting.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, Katie, before we get into the interview of today, I just want to understand, so that also my listeners understand who follows this channel. Like, before Ntshovelo Bakers and Academy, there was a little girl behind it. So who was that little girl?
As I've shared already, I grew up in Soweto, born and bred. Very shy, very quiet. I was that girl, you know. I think my movements were school, church, youth, Christian youth organization, which was Youth Alive. And I love movies. So take a taxi, Benkomba, take a taxi to Southgate or whatever mall to watch a movie. And later as you grow up, you have like boyfriend who takes you out and once in a while. And so that was basically my life. And in December, youth camps, and basically that was it.
And then with your character, have you ever been bullied?
No, luckily.
Yeah?
No, luckily, I haven't been bullied.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, so how did the baking start? The passion for baking?
When I finished matric, I didn't know what to study. I didn't know what to do with my life. And I had this friend, I went to high school with her. Her name is Susan. Hi, Susan. Susan, she put me in trouble that way. But I think everything works out for good. IT had just come in. And she was like, my friend, I think when IT will be perfect for you. I'm like, so that's my friend. She was like, yeah. I'm like, what is IT? She tried to explain it. But I think one thing she said that caught my attention is, was like, my friend, you know? And I didn't know then that money is not everything. Money is not fulfillment. Money does not give you that satisfaction. So I did IT. And to be honest, I struggled a bit. I think if I had worked hard at school, I would have been an A student. So I think I was not like that much hardworking. So I was like a B, C student, you know. But IT, I found it very challenging to a point where I failed for the first time in my life when I was doing second year, and I was very depressed because I've never failed before. That's how challenging it was for me. There was this major Baraki systems development, name for you know. So I failed that, and I finished my diploma. Finally got to finish it, got a job as a computer programmer.
Okay.
And I had it was a good job, it was a great job.
Paying job.
Good paying job.
The way your friend said.
But well, for a start, it was not bad. Okay. I mean, I managed to buy my first car in a few months that I started working. You know, it was good. The benefits were great, you know. But I was not happy. I was not fulfilled. I mean, I had my own office, I had this, I had that. But every time I go home, I was like, God, will this be my next 40 years? You know, like when you start working,
20-something.
Yeah, 20-something, it's estimated that you'll be working for 40 years plus minus, you know? And I just felt depressed at the thought of that, which I can't do this. No, I was like, no, I can't do this. Something has to give. And I had to go back to God and say, we need a plan B. This plan A is not working, you know? So I sort of like prayed for like 5 years. Because you know, he can be quiet at times. So I prayed, and one day he revealed to me, I need to make cakes. And I was shocked. I was shocked, but I always say I was not surprised because as a young girl, every time I told you I like staying in the house. I still do. When I get bored, I would get up and bake, you know? So hence I'm saying I was not surprised. I'm like, oh, okay, that thing has always been there. You know, it's just that I didn't recognize it as something that I could maybe make a living out of, or maybe open a business like out of that, you know, gift. So that's how it all started.
Isn't it amazing how God works?
Yeah, no, he works in amazing way. And I don't regret doing IT here. I think I needed the experience of working in a corporate world while I was working for a government department, but still more or less the same. Because if I didn't do that, I would look at ladies now who wake up to go to work and think, oh, maybe they're better than me, or maybe I'm missing out, maybe I should have went to school. So I'm glad that I had an opportunity to experience both worlds. And till this day, I don't think I would want to go back.
So you are happy as an employer?
Yeah, I'm happy as an entrepreneur.
As an entrepreneur.
Yeah, I get to manage my time. I get to dictate how I want things done. And yeah, it's lovely.
You are in your happy space?
Yeah, majority of the time I'm happy. I don't think anyone in life can say life is perfect, or my business is perfect, or my job is perfect, or my relationship is perfect. There's those, you know, challenges there and there. But yeah, the majority of the time, I'm in a peaceful place. I'm peaceful. I'm okay.
Listening to your stories, your passion. So when did you know, Hore, this baking that you do when you're sitting at home bored, that God said you must be in business? How did it grow from there to be the business that it is today?
Okay, so when he spoke to me, it was the first time in my life that I ever had God speak to me. You know, you would hear people saying, God said to me, God said to me. I'm like, yo, what are you talking about? So it was the first time in my life that God spoke to me. I was so excited. Yo, if I could tell you my story, well, that's something for another day. You see how he literally led me and took me by the hand and said, do this now, do this now, do this now. And I was so excited. I was like, so God can speak, you know? And out of that excitement, obviously I was passionate about baking. I was excited that he's speaking to me. It sort of like gave me this faith that was unshakable. This faith that said, Kenzani, you can do it, and you will. One thing he told me, he said, I will take you far with those cakes. That's what he said.
And he did.
Well, yeah, I still think it's a journey. Yeah, so I had this faith. I mean, at some point I lost everything. When I left my job, I didn't do the proper planning of like saving. And I didn't even ask him, is it the right time for me to leave my job? I just left because I have this thing with God spoke, this is gonna work. So, yeah.
At that time when you left your employment, have the business already started or you are just leaving today with nothing?
Okay, there's some parts of the story that I eliminated because I felt it is just gonna make things, long. When one of the things that he told me to do when I was working, he said, I need you to sell your cakes at the tuck shop. Where I was working, there was a tuck shop. And I had never sold anything at that time in my life. And I went and I spoke to the tuck shop people and they said, okay, no, it's fine. You can bring your cakes in the morning and you go home and take your container and you come back with more cakes the following morning and we'll give you your money every week. So I was already earning a little bit of income, but it was not enough to sustain me, for an example, to pay for my car, pay for my place and things like that.
So now you have to sit down at home. You've left your employment. You can bake. You need to register your business and you need to attract customers. Do you still remember your first customers once after you left your employment? The first customer that you baked the cake for?
Yeah, I'll never forget her. Her name is Miranda. Hi, Miranda. Her name is Miranda. I don't know why she believed in me. I don't know. She just took a chance on me. My first wedding cake came from her, and I think 5 or 6 other birthday cakes came from her, because I don't know if she knew a lot of people. Some people would say I need a cake and she would hook me up with them, or So she was sort of like in between, But I remember.
She was also sent by God?
No, that one was an angel. Yeah, she was sent. Well, somebody had to believe in me. Somebody had to test me. I mean, you have to have your first customer,
Did you have the recipes then, or you were just playing around?
What happened with the cakes, the recipes? Okay, when God started talking to me, the only thing I could bake was Queen's cake. I don't know if you know Queen's cake.
I know Queen's
township cupcakes without the cup, without the paper.
Cream.
Yes, and the cream. Yeah. So I could bake Queen's cake. I could bake gem tarts, and I found a recipe, chocolate cake with Drum Magazine. I baked it and it came out nice. So those were the only things I knew to bake. And those are the things I was selling in Kotak shop. But later I was like, no man, I need to grow. So there's this lady, a family friend, who taught me, Mama Pulelo, hi, who taught me how to make sponge cakes. And then I took it from there.
You know why I'm asking you this?
Yeah.
It's because these days, almost every household in 5 years or so is going to have a baker. Everyone wants to be a baker. Everyone wants to start a business. But I feel like the challenges is, most of them, they want ready-made. There's no school where you go, they teach you to make sponge. There's no school that you go, they teach you how to decorate the cake. And everybody who wants to learn, they don't understand that they cannot just come to Kenzie and say, hi Kenzie, can you give me all your recipes so that I can start my business, or I can do. They don't understand that it took a while to develop a recipe that talks to you. So when you started a business, you got a recipe from Drum Magazine, you tried it, it worked. But you cannot run your cake business with 2 recipes. You need to explore. I just want you to explain to us what the importance of exploring and finding the recipe that talks to your business or that talks to you.
Okay, as I've mentioned before, besides the Drum Magazine one, why are we advertising Drum? Without the magazine one, I did mention that there's a lady who taught me how to make sponge cake. So basically, she taught me the secret of a sponge cake, the things that you need to do for a sponge cake to come out okay. And then obviously I had to explore. I needed to find my own way of doing things. In these days, we have the advantage of social media, where you can maybe search recipes and maybe convert them to suit you. It is important, I feel, for every baker to have their own unique recipes, because you don't want your cakes to be tasting like everybody else's taste. You want people, when they think of your cakes, they're like, you know what? She might be expensive, she might be that, but her cakes, they've got a certain taste that I like. And that being said, you might not appeal to everyone. I mean, people are brand specific. They might like your cake, the way it tastes, and they might not like mine, and vice versa, you know. But it is important for a baker to have that recipe for themselves.
Because with customers, I feel like if they come to you and they said, I want a vanilla cake,
Yeah.
they feel like your vanilla cake will be the same as exquisite deluxe vanilla cake or the other vanilla cake they've tasted. And then sometimes you find that you fill your cake with custard filling. And maybe I don't at all, or I do caramel. And they will be like, I want a vanilla cake with a custard filling and what filling, but they don't understand that it's like restaurant. It's like wings. You get wings in every restaurant or every shop, but they are not the same. So the same goes for the cake. They are all called vanilla cake, but they're not necessarily the same. So now take me back to your first wedding cake. Your very first wedding cake.
I did my first wedding cake, I think a month or 2 months into quitting my job. Miranda was the person who brought my first customer for my first wedding cake. It actually came out nicely. It was a 4-tier cake. It came out beautiful.
4-tier?
Yes.
Okay, did you dowel it at least?
Yes, I did. At least I knew that part.
I didn't.
Did it fall?
Surprisingly, the first cake that you do often comes out
perfect.
It is only after you think you know that you experience
and then
disasters.
It humbles you.
Yes.
Yeah.
At least yours was dowel. Mine was not. It was a 3-tier.
No, mine was 40. It came out very well. I was actually proud of. Well, I think it's in me. I always say with cakes, it's either in you or it's not. You know, you can see if a person will do well in cakes and if a person is not going to do well. Unless they really want it, they're hungry for it and they keep on practicing, you know, and then they get it right. But with me, I don't struggle when it comes to cake. You show me one thing once and I go with it. Yeah, I get it.
I always say my relationship with cakes is very personal.
Okay.
I feel like I communicate with the cake. It is an art.
Okay.
So half of the time when the customer says, hi, I want a cake, a 2-tier cake for this budget, and then do your thing.
Yeah.
And then before the cake said, hi, how will the cake look like? I always say, I don't know.
Yeah. True.
I don't know. I will only know how your cake will look like when I'm done with the cake. And to customer, it sounds strange because I will know that it's a 2-tier, it's a 15 centimeter and 20 centimeter. That I will bake, I will crumb coat, I will cover. If I'm told the color, I will cover with the colors. But when it comes to decorating, I have no idea how your cake will look like. So you train people, and you also have helpers or people who help you with your business. So in terms of releasing some of the recipes or some of the tips and the tricks to your student, to your employees, how do you find that? Because now people would say, if you teach someone, they will steal your business or your recipe or whatever.
Okay, with me, I had to come up with recipes that I share with my students. And then there's recipes that are for my business. That being said, doesn't mean that the ones that I share with my students are mediocre. I worked on it. I worked on those recipes. I tested them and retested them until I was satisfied that it's good value to my students. I mean, most of them, they can attest that the recipes, they taste good and that their customers like them. Because I believe there's some things that are unique to each and every business. So I had to keep my recipes, you know, private and customize recipes for the ones that I give to students. Because can you imagine now, I mean, I've trained more than 1,000 people. So all those people, if they're
South
cakes,
Africa and outside,
and still more they are coming. And even with them, when they come to class, I do tell them that, guys, you are here to learn how to do this and how not to do this. When you get home, explore and make it your own. So you're not forced to be using this recipe as long as you know it's okay, this amount. At some point as a baker, you need to know, when you see a recipe that says 1 cup flour and 3 cups sugar, you know what, this is not it. Something is not right, you know. So you are here to learn those basic skills to know what to do, what not to do, and to be able to change the recipe to the way you want it to be.
With recipes as well, I feel like if you are a baker,
Yeah.
by just reading a recipe from the internet or from the social media, you can tell that this
It's a good one.
it's a good one, or
Yeah.
this will taste better.
But you always have to test it.
Yes.
That's why I always advise anyone or students that you shouldn't allow customers to tell you the flavors that they want and you don't provide them, because you haven't tested it, then you're going to make it doesn't come out right and they're going to end up saying your cakes are not nice. Don't allow a customer to tell you to do something that you're not comfortable with, you know? Yeah.
Have you ever received those weird requests for making cakes, like maybe making exotic type of design, or you know the cakes I'm talking about?
Give me an example.
To have and to hold.
Which one is that? Like the genitals and I have done some of those. I mean,
Can
it's
see.
money. Yeah, guys. Sex is part of life. It's not like it's like food, you know.
Okay, have you done them?
Yeah, I have done
just
them,
haven't
but I
posted
just
them.
don't post because I believe in posting something that resonates with how I want my business to be seen. You know, there's a lot of cakes I make and I don't post, and if I decide to take on a cake, it's because I want to, or maybe I want the money. But if I feel this does not deserve to be in my page, for an example, I don't want to be known to be doing such cakes, you know, then I don't post it. But there's nothing wrong with, there are certain cakes I don't make. I'm not going to mention them so that I don't offend other people. But yeah, some I do take.
And then how do you find social media in terms of the impact it had in your business?
Your social media is powerful, guys. I think most of us can attest that we have grown because of social media. I remember when I started making cakes, you had to advertise in a magazine or in a newspaper, and you pay for that. Hey, it's expensive. You find that a quarter of a page is like thousands. But with social media, you just need to open up a page and millions and thousands of people get hold of you and know about your product or your business. So social media has played, I like joking that Umak, Bani Zuckerberg, that guy,
Uzamile,
no, he's living his purpose. And through that, he has helped so many people to live out their purposes.
He's changed the world.
Yeah, he has.
And then when you take your content, does it matter where you're taking it or just take it anyway?
I'm a perfectionist. I'm for excellence. I always say to my students, I don't want you posting your cake and at the back there's a cremora or a napkin or something.
Napkin?
You know? Yeah. Hey, I mean, most people work from home, so you never know. So work with what you have. Be neat. Be excellent. Present yourself the way you want people to see you, and the way you want people to perceive you, So yeah.
How do you feel when your students are posting their work and it's...
I just, many times I want, the times when I want to stop making cakes actually, and focus on other things. But when I see the impact that I'm making through my students, it just melts my heart. It just makes me see, Wuti, there's something good that I'm doing,
If you were to
I feel so proud.
If you were to choose between making cake and teaching people to make cake?
Definitely teaching. I love teaching. I always say teaching is a calling I never prayed for. It is actually a calling, and I never asked for it. God just said, I just stumbled upon it. I love teaching. I love the interactions we have with the students. I love how I learn from mostly it's women, although men do come as well, how I learn from other women. Some we even end up being friends or acquaintances, And I'm so lucky that God has blessed me with good human beings to be my students, 99.9% of my students are just fun to be around.
Okay, before we go on, I just want us to talk about the academy, because you shared a lot of information about the academy, and I feel like there's someone sitting at home who needs the training, who's saying, I can bake, but I can't do it perfectly. I cannot start a business without a certain skill. Please just share a little bit of information about the academy, and then how can they register if they are interested?
Okay, the academy is me teaching you over a decade of my experience, and We basically take you from scratch. So even if you don't know how to make cakes, we teach you from scratch because we bake different types of flavors of cakes. I teach you different techniques of decorating a cake. It's a place where you get to meet other students as well that you can interact with as well after class. It's a place where there's support even after class. You can ask questions, mentoring that is continuing on a continuous basis even after class. So basically we have different packages, different classes depending on your time and budget, because some people can't afford to be away from work for a long time. So yeah, depending on the budget and the time you can be away just to come and learn. So we offer that.
And then for the people who are not around Gauteng?
I've got people who travel from neighboring countries, from provinces. So that is not an excuse. If you wanted, what's the word?
You do offer accommodation?
Yeah, if you want it, you will come. We do offer accommodation, and it's self-catering. We do provide lunch during class, but for breakfast and supper, you provide your own.
I just wanted to make sure, because I know you're talking about academy and most people want to go for the lessons. So back to the interview. So here in this business, we deal with people.
Yes.
People can be very challenging. Have you ever come across a challenging customer or a difficult customer?
Yeah, a long time ago though.
Okay, take me through it.
You want the whole story? I don't even remember that customer.
How did you deal with the situation and how?
I don't even remember how I dealt with it. All I know is that it broke me. It's one of those things that happen and you feel like, I don't think I want to do this anymore. Because as a baker, I don't know if it happens in any other career. There will be times, a lot of times that you like, I don't want to do this anymore. So it was sort of like a crossroad for me. Do I continue with this or not? But it made me to make some changes in my business. Like with that customer, I had to stop making car cakes. Like adult car cakes. I stopped. Like, I'm not going to do this anymore.
What happened with the car cakes?
Okay, she ordered, I think it was a Range Rover, but it was a big car.
Yeah.
So she sent me a picture and she wanted the cake to look exactly like the picture. And I told her, yes, like the real car.
Okay.
And I told her it's not going to be possible for me to, for the cake to look exactly like. I told her it would be like 70, 80% looking, not 100%. So that she doesn't come with expectations that I'm not willing to.
What I ordered versus what I got.
Exactly, yeah. So I made the cake, I think, besides the covering and the baking, maybe it took me 7 hours to decorate that cake. And when she arrived to fetch the cake, she just rounded the cake. She was like, okay. And then she took the cake. I think 10 minutes later, she called me and she said, I left your cake with security. You can go and fetch it. There's no way I'm going to give my husband that cake. I don't have a problem with her not being happy.
Okay.
You have a right not to be happy or not to be satisfied. But the way she dealt with it,
So security feasted.
I don't even remember if I fetched the cake. It was a long time ago, more than 5 years ago. More than 7 years ago, because I started baking a long time ago. So it's the way she dealt with it that was so painful. And, imagine decorating a cake for 7 hours.
Something that
you're so
clients
tired,
don't appreciate, don't understand.
Exactly, So it made me to stop. I said, I'm not going to do adult cakes anymore. At that time, I was doing only children's car cakes, but even that I've stopped because there's a whole lot of designs of children's cakes that I've stopped making. I do still make children's cakes as long as the design is manageable, because children's cakes have a lot of work, eh? You can decorate a cake for 10 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, no, it's not sustainable.
I feel like because it's a child, the customer think the child is small, so the budget must also be smaller. But the children's cake takes forever to finish. And how do you deal with the customer who says, I want this cake exactly as it is, besides that car one?
I think it's fair to tell the customer that it might not come out exactly like this. Even the cakes that I've made before, there's no way I can make them again and they come out exactly like that. So if you manage and you communicate that expectation, and then you know that you're on the same page, so that when they come, they're not surprised you did tell them. Obviously, you're going to try your level best to make it look similar. But if they say they want exactly, I mean, if there's a dot there, they want that dot there. If there's a, and with marble cakes, marble cakes, there's no way.
Even you yourself, you cannot tell how the marble will come out.
You cannot tell which the marble will come out exactly like that. There's no way it will.
I've had a customer, it was a dripping cake when the dripping was the in thing.
Yeah.
And I was like, but these things that are going down, can they be halfway?
Okay.
Not all the way down. I'm like, oh.
That's funny, hey? But I don't blame them. They don't know, and that's why you need to communicate with your customers. You need to manage expectations as well, and take it from there.
So in your journey, over a decade journey of running a business, what is it that one challenge you feel like you need to share with someone who is in the journey or starting a journey to say, I wish somebody has told me this, I'm not going to do, I would have done it better.
Okay.
Yes.
I think firstly, I can address people who want to, there's a lot of students who come and they just want to leave their jobs to make cakes. Because I've been there, as I've mentioned before, there was a time I lost everything. I remember the sheriff coming to fetch my car.
To that point?
Yes, it was bad. And properties auctioned off, and it was bad.
Kenzie?
Yeah. So do proper planning. If it means saving 6 months, 12 months salary before you can leave your job, people's circumstances do that. People's circumstances differ. Some people have husbands who can cater for them, whether there's cake orders coming in or not. They know, I'll survive, I'll be fine. It's not a trend smash if 2 weeks go by and I don't have, customers. So look at your circumstances and be honest with yourself, Hori. If a month went by without orders, will I be able to survive now? So do proper planning, plan your journey of leaving your job. Save, close off debts that you can close off, pay off your car if you can. I know it's not really practical because some people don't earn much, but try as much as you can to plan. Mina, I didn't plan. Mina, I don't know what I was thinking. Hey, I was like, I didn't even go to home to kind of HR to ask for, okay, now I'm leaving my job. How much am I going to get for my pay? I didn't do all those things. Just like, I'm just on fire, excited. God spoke. I'm doing my business, I'm leaving my job. So yeah, that is one thing I would advise. What else did you ask me? Is it challenges or advice?
The advice that you'll give someone who's starting, which you said you will advise them to plan.
Okay. Another thing is charging your cake less, guys. You're not doing justice to yourself. When you go to wherever to buy stock, they're not saying, are you a new baker? Should we give you a discount? Or have you been baking for long? Guys, stock is expensive. And people don't know how much making cakes is expensive, guys. So
and the tools to do the
and
cakes
the time, and the time. So I understand when you're starting off, you want to charge less so that you can attract customers, but be realistic in your charging as well, because you end up people buying ingredients for you and you're actually making that cake for free and you're not making profit. So that's another thing that I would advise new bakers to be conscious of.
I feel like pricing on its own, it's a cost.
Yeah.
That you need to sit down, because if you don't do it properly, you can get burnout. You can leave your business quicker. Like 2-3 years into it, you can say, this business is not profitable, it's not working for me, because you are not doing the proper costing. And then sometimes you feel like, I feel like most people don't know how to cost in general.
Yeah, it's a challenge.
So if I had 1,000 at the beginning of the week, and then I go and buy stock for 800, I feel like I've got 200, I've made a profit. But that is not the profit that you've made, because there is cost of making the cake, and there is profit, and there's still your salary in it, and the time that it took. It's actually...
Yeah, it's a lot.
It's actually a lot.
And I think I will celebrate the day South Africans will understand why we charge the way we do. I always say I wish every South African could go to a cake class and see what goes through making a cake, because a lot of students, when they come to class, they're like, can't. Now I understand why you charge the way you charge, you know? So, yeah.
And then they look at the
need to be
supermarket
educated.
cake, which are mass
it's not the
production
same.
and are not even personalized, and the recipes, it's mostly ready mix or not that rich, and they want to compare your recipe or your cakes to that, which you cannot compare the same. You cannot compare the two.
And it's not only the recipe or the ingredients that go into the cake, it's also the time. Guys, spending 3 hours decorating a cake, that's excluding baking, planning for a cake, going to buy things, planning for the cake, and 3 to 5, 7 some, you know? So, yeah.
Have you ever had a disaster or disastrous cake?
Disaster. Once in a while, I don't think there's any baker who say they've never had one. Once in a while, you go and deliver a cake and you
open the boot, it's not there.
Yeah. So you always have to think ahead with what can happen, and if it does happen, how am I going to fix it? That's why lately, I think Tepi introduced this thing of going to deliver a cake with a toolbox, you know, so that you put everything that you're going to need inside, so that whatever happens, that you think ahead with, okay, if this thing comes out, at least I've got my glue, I've got my royal icing, I've got this, I've got that. You know, if the cake has wafer paper, then go with extra wafer paper so that you can put, if maybe one falls off or things like that. So you just need to plan ahead and think ahead, especially with delivering a cake and many other disasters. Do you
deliver cake stacked or you stack at the venue if it's a wedding?
It depends on the size of the cake. Some, they can go stacked. Some, I stack them at the venue. I mean, I can't take 7-tier cake and I go with it like that. That's like asking for, that's asking for trouble.
I always go with my tool. I even carry a small fondant, maybe 500 grams.
Yeah.
I know I can't roll it. And then I take a knife that somehow, whatever happens, I don't know what, but I should have everything in place. And I also take extra flowers. You know, flowers can save you.
Yeah.
Sometimes it comes back to when the customer said, I want that cake exactly as it is. And the cake, the flowers was on the right side. But when I finish your cake, it needs to be on the left because there's an issue on the left that needs to be fixed. So that's why we can't do exactly. So I always carry also the extra flowers.
Yeah, disasters happen. There was a time I made a cake and I finished an hour before it was supposed to be fetched, and I slipped and the cake fell. Luckily, I had another cake that was leaving the following day, so I had to close it quickly. I don't even remember if I made the same design or if I called the customer and I told her what happened, and I just came up with something, you know, quick. So, yeah.
I will die.
But I haven't had those in a very long time, yeah.
Kenzie, when we started, you said before you knew money is not everything. Nah?
Yeah.
So I just want to understand in your own words, besides profit, how do you measure success?
I think success is measured by fulfilling purpose. You need to know the purpose of why you're doing what you're doing. And when you have fulfilled that purpose, you've become successful in what you set out to do. Yeah. So first find why you're doing what you're doing and fulfill it.
So if there's one thing about this journey, I call you a business person or a baker.
Yeah.
What is that one thing you feel like you don't like?
With the baking?
Yeah. If there's one thing in your baking
the long
business.
hours, the physical exhaustion, those two I don't like. It's this industry is tiring. And you end up the long hours and the exhaustion.
I think every baker relates to what you're saying.
I mean, every baker is awake I don't do that anymore. 3 a.m., Gadi Fridays, and, you know,
we don't
no
sleep.
Saturday. Yeah, you guys, you don't sleep.
I can do 8 to 5.
Yeah, okay.
By the time we come back, you guys are already done with the 8 to 5.
Yeah.
And now we're starting.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it requires a lot out of you. The stock, this customer will be saying, no, I want it in green, not in blue. And the admin part of it. The admin part of it is not fun as well. Yeah.
Because when you're a baker, when you're an entrepreneur and you're just starting, you are everything. So you
Yeah.
do your admin, you
Yeah.
do your stock, you
Yeah.
do reception, you
Yeah.
attend to the customer, and you are the baker, and you have to advertise.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. But as you grow, you can delegate some of those things to other people.
if the pocket allows.
If the pocket allows. True. Yeah.
Okay, Kenzie. We're gonna go to the kitchen shortly.
Okay.
But before we do that,
What's happening in the kitchen?
you're gonna find out.
If I don't
tell
like
you-
surprises.
No. Kitchen is our favorite room in the house.
Okay.
So you should love kitchen.
Okay.
Yes. But if you were to have superpowers to help you in the kitchen, like that's superpower, what would it be?
Think of something and it manifests. Think of a cake and it just makes
So
it.
ready-made cake.
Yes.
So what about the passion and everything and the excitement in making the cake? If the superpower just do Spider-Man cake, is there. Do wedding cake, is there.
I can in my head, I would have fulfilled the passion of the thinking of the process of the making of the cake. I don't know. I guess maybe I'm not prepared for that question because I've never really thought about it. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then if you were to have a favorite baking tool, one favorite baking tool, what would it be?
I currently have two.
That's fine.
My machine. I can't without a machine.
The mixer.
The mixer, yes. I always say to my students, a hand mixer is when you can't run a business on a hand mixer.
I feel like hand mixers don't like me. I've broken about 4.
No, they do break. That's why it's better to buy a machine because in a year you can break 7. And out of the money that you take to buy 7 hand mixers, you might as well buy a machine that will last you for years. It's good to start with a hand mixer if you can afford. We all have to start somewhere, but it shouldn't be like your ultimate goal, And like you said, you're just going to end up buying more hand mixers every other month. Yeah. So it's my machine, when I call it a mixer. And there's this spatula that I have, the palette knife that I have.
Okay. For
Ever since I
trimming the
started,
cake.
no, is it for trimming?
But that sharp knife that cuts the bread.
No, that's the knife. But the palette knife, it's not
For
sharp.
putting the ice.
Exactly, yeah.
Oh, okay.
I've had that one ever since I started making cakes to a point where if I can't find it, I can't continue doing whatever that I need to do. I need to find my palette knife.
Even though there are other knives, you just need
Even
that
though
specific.
I had now I have a lot of palette knives, but it has
I
to be
relate
that
to what
one.
you're saying.
So those two, yeah.
So if I steal that one, I've stolen the business.
Not necessarily. Obviously, I will have to adjust. Nothing that is outside of me can make the business to collapse. Like if you steal my machine, I can always get another machine and get used to it. If you steal the palette knife, I could always get another one and get used to it. It's just that it's got some,
Sentiments.
the sentiments between me and that. I always say if I ever stop baking, I'm gonna auction off this one. Yeah. When you have that one, you have my magic touch. Yeah.
One last question before we go to the kitchen. If you were to spend time with one baker anywhere in the world, who would it be?
I can't really point out one person abroad and
It doesn't matter.
yeah, like abroad and here in South Africa, there's a number of people I look up to and I'm like, oh, the work is beautiful. I know this lady. What's her name? I forgot her name on Instagram. I would love to spend time with her. But I draw inspiration from a number of people and I've had an opportunity to travel abroad to meet people that I admired. So yeah. But what's her name?
Okay,
I forgot
explain
her
to me
name.
the kitchen or the look of the page.
She's very classy. She's very creative. What's her name?
She's got long hair.
Black long hair from Canada.
VD cake.
No. She's white. But anyway, yeah. I love her work. But there's a whole lot of there's a lot of bakers out there, a lot, and I draw inspirations from different types of number of bakers. And another thing is, not one baker cannot give you everything that you need. So you draw inspiration from different people for different reasons. Yeah.
Because as a baker, you wear a lot of hats. You become the florist. You arrange flowers for the cake. Figurinist, if there is
I don't
something
do
like that.
figurines.
You don't do figurines.
Guys, children's cakes.
I think now let's go to the kitchen to play a little game, and then we'll just be back here to wrap up
Okay.
everything.
All right. We're
Thank
still
you.
coming back here.
Yeah, we need to wrap up. How at the
okay.
kitchen, we're just going to visit. We can have bakers and we don't visit the kitchen.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Okay, Kenzie, welcome to my kitchen.
Thank you.
We put aprons when we're in the kitchen. You know,
Yes.
kitchen is our favorite room in the house as bakers, ne?
Yeah.
So we're gonna play a little game that I've got for you. Prepared, if you can move this side.
Okay.
Yes, and then here I've got the sponge, the icing. So Kenzie, this is what I have for you. I've got the sponge that I've already cut into two, and I've got icing, black, red, and white. You'll choose which one you want. I just want you, because you're a teacher,
Yes.
with your eyes closed. Here are the tools that I've got. Unfortunately, I don't have the turntable. I forgot the turntable, and I know most bakers use turntable, but I don't, because I don't know how to use it.
How do you work without a turntable?
I don't know how to use it. I'm learning. One day I will. So I just want you to crumb coat these two sponge with your eyes closed. I'm gonna cheat.
No, I don't cheat.
Okay, can you do it with your eyes
I
closed?
just don't know if I'll be able to do it because I've never done
I'll
it
be
before.
guiding you. As a baker, you should be able to get your way around it. So this is the icing that I've already mixed.
Okay.
Yes, if you wanna soften it now before you start,
Yeah.
this is the scraper I use.
Okay. It's a little bit hard, though.
Is it?
But it's fine. Did you use wooden spoon here?
Yeah.
I got the wooden spoon. Okay, born a couple of I took a wooden spoon.
So what do you use, Kant?
I use my velo. I've always used my velo ever since
I don't know what
started
my
making.
velo is.
You only get it at macro. It tastes nice.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay. So when it comes to the icing, do you have a specific one that you like? Remember, once you're done softening, let me know so that you can close your eyes.
Yeah, I'm done.
Yes. Okay, now you can close your eyes and you start. That's your first sponge in there, in the table. Yes. You can scoop.
So what am I supposed to do?
You crumb coating only.
No, but I can't come coat before I fill the cake.
You're not going to have filling. We just
And am I not supposed to
you
put
fill with the icing, with the butter icing. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. There you go. I'm not going to talk too much because I want you to concentrate. Move towards your other hand that it's outside. Yes, I think you need to scoop in a little bit here. Okay. Yes.
But okay, what's the purpose of this game?
I just want to see. We are a teacher. I just want to see if you can do this.
But I don't teach blindfolded.
It doesn't matter. I just want to see if you can do this with your eyes closed. That's all. Yeah. Don't worry. I'm guiding you. I'm helping you. I think we need to put the next sponge now.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
So I've put in the next sponge for you. It is straight, but you can feel if it's... Yes, you are a baker. You are a baker. I can see the trick already.
Okay.
Yes. Okay.
All right.
Yeah. Okay.
You see, with a turntable, my work will be so much easier.
I will turn the thing for you. So don't worry.
But
Okay. Scoop again.
Here.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
How do you think you're doing? Do you think you're doing good or terrible?
I've never done this before. So.
You're outside, yeah?
So I don't know.
Okay, there's the icing. Yes.
Should I try?
Yes, good. That is the last part, that side. Yes. I can definitely tell that you are the baker. You belong to the kitchen. You are doing it so perfectly.
Okay.
Yes, yes.
Can I do the top now?
Yes, you can do the top.
Okay. Yeah.
How do you think you're doing? Do you think you're doing it?
I don't know.
You have no idea.
I have no
the
idea.
feeling, the cards, it just tells you you're doing it right. Let me know if you need a scraper.
I have no idea.
You need a scraper.
Did I here? There's no button. There's no
Okay,
icing.
okay, yeah. Yes.
Okay.
Let me know if you think you are done and you want to open your eyes.
Okay, give me the scraper.
Okay. Yeah.
You see, with the turntable, this
I hear you. I know what turntable does. I just don't know how to use it.
So much is. I can't work without a turntable. I actually forgot to mention that it's one of the third thing that I can't work without. It's one of my favorite things to work with.
Okay.
Yeah. Give me a knife.
Okay.
Not a knife.
A scraper. Let me do it for you because I know what you want to do.
Okay.
Yes, you've got it now. It's cleaned. Yeah.
No, I want to.
Okay.
Yeah. And then normally after scraping on the sides,
Make sure the corners are back together. Yeah.
Which obviously I'm not gonna get right because I can't.
We're not gonna have sharp edges.
Sharp
yes.
edges.
Tell me this thing about sharp edges. People are so fascinated and obsessed.
I don't know. You know, in the cake industry, fashion come and go, trends come and go. Yeah. So I think it's just because there was a time where rounded edges were the thing. So I don't know who decided to come up with sharp edges, and now it's the thing. So it depends on the trend, really. But I think it looks much nicer and much neater. So
you know what
I hope it doesn't
say?
change back to the rounded edges.
I think whoever came up with this has set a trend that every baker strive for. They all want to have sharp edges. I think you can open your eyes and just...
Ooh, not bad.
How do you rate yourself from 0 to 10?
I think not bad considering my eyes were closed.
And you didn't have your turntable?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. And also the butter was not so soft.
So smooth.
So,
yeah. I think we took it out in the fridge, but we didn't take it long enough.
Yeah.
Yes. So rate yourself out of 10?
Maybe 5.
I'll definitely give you an 8 or a 9. Considering your eyes was closed and this is crumb coating, nothing much is left to be done.
Yeah. Not bad. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you want to clean your hands maybe?
Yeah, I'll just wash them later. Yeah.
No, later.
Yeah.
I thought you could have. Okay.
When we finish.
Okay. So tell me, what is your earliest memory when you're in the kitchen?
I think the times I've spoken about where I was a young girl, and every time I get bored, I'll just get up and bake. So I think that's my earliest memory.
Did anyone inspire you to bake as a child?
Yeah, my aunt is actually the one who gave me the Queen's cake recipe. Yeah, I was staying with my grandmother at the time, and she was married and still married. And she used to be a teacher at the school where I was schooling.
Oh, okay.
So I remember one day I went to her and I said, I want to bake cakes. Can you give me a recipe? And she wrote it down for me, and I went and I tried it and I took it from there.
Did you give her the royalties at least? Because
I don't remember if I ever told her. Hey? Yeah. One day we must have a sit down and actually tell her that she actually played a huge role in this thing. Yeah. But the fact that I went and asked her, because before she got married, I used to stay with her, and she liked baking. So I knew that when I go to her, I'll get the recipe. That's why I went and asked her for a recipe. Yeah.
And then if there's that one thing, that outstanding thing that ever came out of your kitchen, especially in your baking journey, what is it, if you still remember as today, that I once made this?
Yeah, I can't think of any.
At the moment?
Yeah, at the moment, no. I can't think of any.
Okay, before we go back to the lunch again, to finalize this episode, I just want to know any upcoming project that you still want to explore, want to do, or anything that you feel like you haven't done it yet and it still needs to be added.
Okay, there's one thing that I still need to do. I can't, unfortunately, talk about it. It's been a dream of mine for over a decade, and I think it's about time it come to fruition. Like I said, I can't mention much about it, so people will just have to see when it unfolds. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Kenzie. Let's go back to the lunch to close this episode.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Kenzie, that was fun that we had in the kitchen. I really enjoyed it.
Thank you for having me in the kitchen.
Yes. So now, thank you very much for joining me today.
Sure.
But I just want you to tell the people who are following this channel where to find you.
Okay.
In all the social media platforms, if you are in all of them, so that they can follow you too.
Okay, so Ntshovelo Cakes is on Facebook, Instagram as Ntshovelo Cakes, and also as Ntshovelo Cakes and Academy, and on Twitter as well as Ntshovelo Cakes. And we are based in Midrand, and my number is 082-551-4094, and the website is www.ntsovelocakes.co.za.
Thank you, Katie. Thank you for joining me.
Thank you so much. It took some convincing.
Yeah, it was difficult to get hold of
guys.
you. Kenzie, I can't be, they don't know that I had to beg, I had to pray, I had to do everything to make sure that you are here
But
today.
thanks for having me. Thank you. I really appreciate. Yeah.
Yeah, welcome.
Yeah, I'm honored actually.
Thank you very much for joining us today. Please stay tuned for the next episode when we have another guest who's going to unpack their personal journey, inspire us, share their personal stories. And then please don't forget to like, share, comment, and follow us. Ndikonanga Nkonisawo.